What's up, all the Accuses, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, I am reporting for you from freezing cold Southern California. And I am going to be doing a response today to the interview that was released by Rolling Stone with Levar Burton, who played Geordi LaForge in Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, even though I'm that Star Wars girl, I am actually a huge Star Trek fan, and people that have, watched my channel and my content for a long time know that. And if you guys are new here, welcome. Take a minute, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And if you have been subscribed for a long time, welcome back. Lovely to see you here. Make sure that you're still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people every single day, and it sucks. So basically, in this interview, Levar Burton says some pretty controversial things, and I always try to separate the actor or actress from the roles that they're playing. When it comes to Star Trek and, Star Wars, they're very, very near and dear to my heart. So sometimes it does hurt when I see this person that I know nothing about, but because I've been watching them since I was a young child. And, it's like seeing, the man behind the curtain. It's like finding out that a certain guy that delivers presents once a year isn't real. It's kind of heartbreaking. And so I got really, really upset when I read this because, again, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I'm like, It wasn't the fact that it was all this woke nonsense, because I'm kind of used to that at this point. It was the fact I'm like, did you suddenly lose your memory? Did all of this stuff just blank? Or are you just trying to do this for woke points so you can get a job? And it angered me because I see people like Henry Cavill, who knows how to manage interview questions that are traps for certain ways and how to answer it in a way that, is respectful to not only himself, the character, but also the fan base. And I wish more people would do that. And it's one of the reasons why I'm a Henry Cavill super simp. And so seeing, actors that played characters that I loved go into these traps and take the bait and just kind of try to nail that in. And it's like, dude, you played this character for 7 years of the TV show and then in the movies. You've gone to almost every single convention. How do you not know these things? How are you, being willingly ignorant of these things? And so I kind of did this whole little tweet thread and just vented. I'm like, you know what, I need to take some time and just calm down before I get into this. But now I have taken the time, I have calmed down. So let's go through this article, and I will give you guys my response to the questions that Levar Burton answers about Geordi. If The Next Generation was a current show, would you want anything to be different about Geordi? Yeah, he'd get laid. Out of all the incredible things you could have Geordi LaForge do, the only thing that you think of, that you come to mind, is sex? Like, come on, how fucking simple and narrow-minded. Like, this is Geordi LaForge, this isn't you, just because you're horny. Like, I don't need to know that. Like, and you don't even have to say he gets laid. It could be like, oh, he found the love of his life and he's happy and, he's a dad now or something like that. Or changing the world, inventing something. Like, again, out of all of the things you could have Geordi do, the only thing that comes to mind is getting laid. Like, it's only, this interview just gets worse, by the way, guys, but bear with me. It's pretty weird that Data, an android, got laid more than Geordi. Weird, it's insulting. Whether they are aware of it or not, those white men who wrote the show had an unconscious bias that was on display to me and to the other people of color. Their blind spot is revealed in the fact that a black man never was successful at one of the basic and most... My wife says, there's a lid for every pot. It's true. The idea that Geordi never found a lid for his pot is ludicrous. It's preposterous, and it's insulting. What's that? Black men in Star Trek never find the one? What was that? Says Benjamin Sisko. What was that? Says Worf. Really? What was that? Says Tuvok. Give me me a fucking break. Like, did you not watch the show? Like, really, come on. These questions that, or the way that he's answering these questions, and again, this hurts. This hurts me because I really like Jordy, and I did up until this point really like Levar, and you know I obviously don't know him, I don't know much about him, but the little that I've seen coming out, I mean, he didn't used to be like this from what I'd seen, and again, I don't know that much about him, but I remember, so here's the thing that you guys got to take in mind though, because it's ridiculous. A man that was in almost every single episode of The Next Generation, and he doesn't remember Worf and the episode with Worf and Kalar. He doesn't remember any of this, right? Like, are you kidding me? And again, there's other black actors and actresses that have been in Star Trek, that have had romantic scenes and romantic relationships. He obviously knows that. The issue right now, though, is that he just lost the gig in Jeopardy, which they talk about in here, because he wanted to take over the mantle, and be the host of Jeopardy. Didn't get the job, and his daughter is very much involved in new Star Trek. To be able to get involved in Star Trek, you have to be woke as all fucks, right? And so maybe, I'm like, my fingers are like, maybe he's doing this. Maybe all of a sudden his memory got wiped and he has no recollection of any of these characters or any of those relationships. And he's just saying what he needs to get a job. And that's me really reaching because I want to have hope. But I'm probably wrong. Maybe he just is woke. But again, being woke doesn't excuse this sudden memory loss. Like, how do you not know this? I mean, you worked with Michael Dorn, I'm assuming, every day you were on set. You don't remember Michael Dorn and Worf having all of these love interests. You don't remember the episodes with Geordi. And this is what I get into here. I'm like, okay, actually, let me get back, because the question is, there's going to be a question that comes up that has to do with this. Do you know the term incel? Yes. Some might describe Geordi as an incel. I don't think Geordi was an incel because he wasn't angry. I think that the term comes along with the idea that there's some sort of maladaptation going on in the fixation. Geordi wasn't angry, so I think it's unfair to put him in that category. Even so, he did some creepy things, like creating his dream woman in the holodeck and then trying to date his subordinate. And that's part of the problem, right? In their attempts to be cute, they inadvertently created an aspect of Geordi's character that is very uncomfortable. All right, now let's talk about this scenario, because again, huge Star Trek fan. Let me explain if you guys don't remember this episode. So, the Enterprise is trying to get out of like this booby trap minefield, right? And they just can't figure it out, and they only have a certain amount of time before the ship is basically gonna be dead in space and they're all gonna die. So Geordi is trying to figure it out. He goes into the holodeck and has the computer create this simulation of Leah Brahm, the woman that designed the warp drive, and they work together to try to fix this. They do, and through it, obviously the computer is simulating Leah, and she has the personality that was on file, and so the hologram is reacting to Geordi the way that the computer thinks she would, and obviously romance ensues, and Geordi, even though she's a hologram, it felt real to him. And we've seen this throughout all of Star Trek, so or not the original series obviously, but it's not like Geordi's the only one that this happened to. Same thing with Janeway. She had a holographic boyfriend. Heck, with freaking the Doctor, they really go dive deep into this in Voyager, where it's the whole, concept of, is a hologram actually a life form? There's a whole episode where he, writes that, oh my god, it was the play, right? The Doctor in Voyager, he writes a play that is kind of, a reflection of everyone on the crew. It's really embarrassing to everyone else because he plays himself as like this ultimate victim because the Doctor's a drama queen, and then they publish it anyways, a holodeck program, and he tries to get everything back, but they're like, no, you're not a person, so you have no rights in this, area. And so he fights that. So that's a whole amazing debate that they bring into Star Trek is, and they did it with Data too. With the measure of a man is like, is he a life form? Does he count as, a person? And so, again, can really get into the, you know, psychoanalyzing that part of Star Trek. But to say that it's weird, I'm like, you really don't understand the shit that you were in, dude. Or, again, you're just playing for the woke crowd. But so he, you know, he's got this crush on her because of what he thought she was like in the holo program, because that would mess with your mind when you see it. You know, you can feel it, and, you know, disassociating the holodeck program from reality. I feel like that would be a thing that people struggle with, and it's a concept that they've explored in Star Trek multiple freaking times. And so when Leah does show up, of course, he's interested in her. Right? It's like she's the woman from his freaking dreams. It just showed up. And, you know, from his holo dreams or holodeck experiences. And he's really nice to her. She's kind of a bitch. And then she kind of warms up to him. And the second she realizes he's interested in her, she tells him that she has a husband. But, you know, she would have been interested. And she was flattered. And they go back to being friends. And, you know, there is, you know, an alternate, you know, version where, you know, they do get married. And so she could have been the one. And the way that he talks about it, it's like, okay, yeah, she could have been the one, right? But she was taken. That's relatable. So many people can tell you. I mean, that's a very common trope within storytelling, because it's a reality where you meet the right person, but it's the wrong time and they end up with someone else. Remember that movie La La Land? That was the whole thing, that they were in love, but then, you know, it didn't work out, and then the thing happens at the end, and it's like, oh, he still loves her, right? And so this is what I said in my tweet. Again, I was very angry. It's like, okay, you take this guy who is on Starfleet's flagship. He is one of the best engineers in the galaxy, and they gave him flaws so that way he could be relatable. So many people can relate to Geordi because of his uncomfortableness and, you know, insecurity and clumsiness around women. Right? I can relate to that. I'm pretty sure dating is so awkward. I'm pretty sure everyone can relate to that. Like, this guy says it right here. Man, that was one of the reasons I liked Geordi. In his element, he was a genius, bold and unafraid. But around women he liked, he was hopeless, romantic, and kind of a klutz. Relatable. Exactly. That was the point. They took this guy, they made him a fucking genius, and they gave him flaws. Oh my god, how terrible. They made this character relatable. Oh my god. How terrible. How dare they? How dare they? It's crazy that warp speed is a thing, but Geordi needs a visor to see. Well, I had that conversation with the powers that be. They always maintained that Geordi's visor was a shorthand language of communicating the technological sophistication of the 24th century. I learned to be okay with that until I wasn't. We did 7 years and one movie, 1994 Star Trek Generations. After that, I was done. I was tired of having my eyes covered and was really insistent. We found a way, as I always knew we could, to shrink that technology into an ocular implant. I was so excited about that. It took long enough. It did. And at the end of the day, it served its purpose. Geordi's visor is iconic. You know exactly what you're looking at when you see it. The idea that young people, male and female, put headbands over their eyes and play Geordi LaForge is proof positive that it is an iconic image. Can't argue with that. Okay, now this one I will give it to him because I understand, like, just seeing that, having to wear that, not being able to see, having to manage that, I wouldn't be able to have the patience to it. But then again, I'm not an actor or actress, you know, I'm not working in Hollywood like them. But it's like, I'm sure Worf was uncomfortable. I'm sure he was uncomfortable. I'm sure Data was uncomfortable. Heck, they had to change the leotard suit things because it was messing with Picard's back. They made Riker grow a beard. I'm sure everyone on there was somewhat uncomfortable with some of the stuff that they had to play. But guess what? You're a Hollywood actor. That's part of your job. So sorry if, you know, small is violin for, you know, you and your problems there. But also, the woke people are always screaming about diversity and inclusion, and it's like they had and how they want representation, right? Okay, so they had a black blind man as the chief engineer on the USS Enterprise, Starfleet's flagship. And heck, they even have points in the show, there's so many times where people bring up his visor as like a handicap, and Geordi's like, it's not a handicap, I can see. You know, I just see different. Sometimes I actually see better at certain things than you guys can. And so it's like, well, they want to have, you know, all of these things in Star Trek, but now they're complaining and making fun of it. And nothing is ever enough for these people. Absolutely nothing. And again, maybe it's just me really giving the benefit of the doubt that he's just trying to say the right thing so that way he could get a job because of Star Trek Picard, which they talk about a little bit. I just didn't even want to touch on it because it's just him talking about there's the possibility of him being in Star Trek Picard, but he hasn't gotten the call. Now, me and a lot of other people were like, he should have been the one. Like, because they have Picard going after Data. It's like, Geordi is Data's best friend. When Data thinks that Geordi died, he says to Picard, he's like, hey, I'm his best friend. I should be the one that, you know, can I be the one that, you know, hosts his celebration of life? When Geordi and Ensign Rogue, you know, get into the whole Romulan cloaking thing and everyone thinks that they're dead. And so it's like, Geordi would be the one to go find Data. That's who they would call. Heck, when it came down to freaking Deanna and Riker's son that died because they needed a positronic brain to save them. It's like, so you're telling me Deanna and Riker wouldn't go hunt down Geordi and have Geordi fix it? Because Geordi is the one that, like, knows Data's schematics almost, you know, better than anyone, including Bruce Maddox. I'm pretty sure Geordi could have saved Deanna and Riker's son. Heck, Q could have saved Deanna and Riker's son, but they're bringing Q in to destroy him anyway, so that's one thing. If anything, he should be happy that they haven't completely bastardized his character in this new show. But again, it looks like he just kind of wants a job, and he's saying the right thing so he can get into Star Trek. But again, it's like, LeVar, you're smarter than this. You could have answered those questions so much better than that. You want to bring up how, you know, they were racist white men that didn't give black characters love interest. It's like, look at Cisco. Look at Worf. Look at Tuvok. Heck, Star Trek had the first interracial kiss. Give me a fucking break that the writers are racist. If the writers of Star Trek were racist, they wouldn't have made a black man the chief engineer of the USS Enterprise, the flagship of the Federation. One of the best engineers in the galaxy wouldn't be a black man if the writers were racist. So give me a fucking break. And saying that, oh, all the other actors felt it too. Really? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? There is a black character in a position of power, sometimes in a lead position, in every single Star Trek series. So give me a fucking break. This is bullshit. If you want to, you know, go cower to the woke crowd, you can. All you're doing, they're never going to support you. That's just plain and simple. They will not support you. And all you're doing is alienating the people that love you and care about you and your character. That's all it is. And it breaks my heart to see that. But I just, again, I got really, really mad when I read this. And again, I really do try to separate the actor or actress from the character that they're playing. But I'm only human, guys, and because they played those characters I love, I care about these people and what they say. You can judge me all you want for that. It's just, maybe it's just one of my flaws. It's part of who I am, and it really hurts to see stuff like this. And again, I love Star Wars, I love Star Trek, and I'm just like, I just wish that this stuff would stop, but I doubt it will. But anyways, everyone, this is my response to that article and those interview questions that he gave. I wish that things could be different, but they're not. This is just the reality of the situation, and this is, I just wanted to say my 2 cents on it because it's bullshit. It's like, you would think after all of those years, decades of playing that character, being in, you know, the Star Trek world, and I mean, not just like the TV and movie world, I mean like this world where you're going to conventions, interacting with fans, that you would know these things and you wouldn't just throw them to the curb like that, you know, to get some woke points. I don't understand the thought process there. But anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you for watching this far through. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. If there's something you wanted me to talk about a little bit more, let me know there as well. And if you guys haven't subscribed, maybe take a minute, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you guys actually get notifications for my videos and live streams. And if you guys have been subscribed, make sure that you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people every single day. Unfortunately, my channel is shadow banned. Got confirmation about that. It sucks. But the only way to fight it is if you guys could possibly help me by sharing out this video. It doesn't matter how big or small your platforms are. Every single share, counts for the YouTube bot algorithm to help fight my shadow ban. So sharing the video really means the world to me. So thank you so much, everyone. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for supporting my channel and my content. And I have a really exciting project that's live right now on IndieGoGo. Due to requests from those of you in the chat that have been watching for a long time, I did a whole transformation video on going rogue for Halloween this year, and some people suggested, hey Anna, you should do a calendar. So I did. It's live now on IndieGoGo. The link is in the description of this video. Click it, go check it out, see the tiers that I have available, and thank you very much, everyone. I also have an Etsy where I sell prints of my original artwork, like oil paintings and drawings of various characters. So go check it out. Link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.